with another video, basically a story time about my labor and delivery with my last son, Kamari, Xavier Green. And I'm going to insert some clips at the end of this video. Well, basically, Kamari, he was basically a surprise pregnancy. And when I say a surprise, I don't mean like, yes, me and his father, my soon-to-be husband, yes, we were having sex unprotected and everything like that. But when I say a surprise, I basically mean that I wasn't planning on getting pregnant with him, basically. That's basically what I mean when I say that he was a surprise pregnancy. I wasn't planning on getting pregnant with him. We was basically doing, as people will call it, the pull-out method. And clearly, it did not work. So, basically, I found out that I was pregnant with Kamari October 23rd, 2016. And I was kind of upset at myself for getting pregnant a couple of months after I had just had my son. I had my son, my other son, Caleb, August 26th of 2016. And I got pregnant in October. So basically, I was going to this doctor. He was the most, out of all the pregnancies that I had, this had to be by far the most terrible OBGYN that I've ever had for any of my pregnancy. He tried to make me take 3 glucose tests. I took one and my level came back high. So I took the second one, which is the 3-hour one, and everything came back fine. But then he turned around and tried to make me take another one. And I'm basically sitting here trying to figure out why. And so I'm like, no, that's not right. I wanted to transfer back to the people that I was seeing during my pregnancy with my son Caleb. But they refused to send over my information. And if you hear somebody in the background, you guys, that's my son, sorry. So they refused to send over my information. And so then eventually I found a new doctor. It's called Bay Women's Health. It's in Glen Burnie, Maryland on Hospital Drive. 308 Hospital Drive. So basically I went to them and they tried to get my records from the other doctor too. This doctor that I'm actually going to, that I went to for the rest of my pregnancy, actually knew of that doctor. And he was actually surprised to hear basically the things I was telling him about him. About basically he didn't prescribe me my first OBGYN, he didn't prescribe me no prenatal vitamins, he didn't give me a due date. And like I said, he tried to make me take multiple glucose tests. So basically they tried to get the information sent over. They refused to send it over, but I guess they eventually sent it over. So basically this new doctor, Dr. Popkins, that's the name of my OBGYN that I see, is Dr. Popkins. He prescribed prenatal vitamins, we did the blood test, everything went fine. So basically fast forward, I think I was 36 weeks and like 5 or 4 days. And I went in for my last appointment before that following Monday, the July 24th, that I was going to go and be induced. So basically, I went into the doctor's office, we scheduled the induction date for that Monday. Went in Monday to the hospital, got induced, and you guys, when I tell you these contractions were intense. I've had 2 other kids. I got contractions with my son Caleb, but the thing about that, I got induced at 37 weeks at my doctor's office, and like that next day or that next morning, I started having basically contractions. But what I didn't know was that they were contractions, because the doctor that induced me with my son Caleb told me that you're going to be getting cramping, because he basically what did he do? He basically ruptured my walls. So he told me I was going to be getting cramps. So I'm just basically thinking that that's what that was. And by the time I got to the hospital with my son Caleb, his labor and delivery was fast and easy. By the time I got to the hospital with him, a couple hours later, I was already, when I got to the hospital with him, I was 7 centimeters dilated. Mind you, you need to be 10 centimeters in order to have a baby. So by the time I got there with him, it was only 3 centimeters left that I had to be in order to deliver. So yeah, that pregnancy was easy. And so was the pregnancy with my daughter Aubrey. But basically with Kamari, Kamari, it was the worst contractions that I have ever experienced. Yeah, he started getting distressed. His heart rate was going up and down, so they had to insert an internal heart monitor, and they placed it on his head. And so basically when they did that, you guys, I guess it was some type of tube, and the tube wasn't supposed to have blood in it, but my tube had blood in it, and they didn't know how to flush it. So basically, a couple hours after that, it was that same day, but it was at 10 something at night, I wound up delivering him. The pain from delivering him was the worst pain that I've ever experienced having a child. So basically, yeah, he came out and everything like that. He was fine, he was healthy, but something that his dad had noticed that they didn't do. I delivered all three of my children at the same hospital, Baltimore Washington Medical Center in Glen Burnie. I delivered all three of my children there. Something that their dad had noticed that I didn't notice because I was in so much pain from delivering him. And by the way, I was induced with Pitocin. The thing that their dad had noticed was that, you know, when you take the baby over to the incubator, you're supposed to turn on the light. They did not turn on the light, and it took them the longest time to give my son a bath, all that stuff. So basically, we had him. We was there for basically for 3 days. The first night I asked them could they take him for an hour because I was just exhausted. And basically we was there. My boyfriend, like I said, my soon-to-be husband, he wound up having to leave because we had 3 other children that he had to take back home. So I wound up being at the hospital by myself, and you know, they would come and do the routine checks, checking on me, make sure my bleeding was okay, make sure my uterus was going back the way that it was supposed to, checking Kamari, and it came down to that Kamari wound up with jaundice. Mind you, this is the first time ever that any of my kids have ever had jaundice. So this, for me having anxiety, this was the most terrifying news in my life I had ever received about any of my children. He wound up with jaundice. He had to take him for a couple of hours and put him under the lights, and then, but every time they came back to check his levels was always high. And mind you, at this time I was breastfeeding, so the type of person that I am, for my anxiety, I research things, but little do knowing me researching things just makes me scared more. So I researched things, and it said that it could be from me breastfeeding. Told the doctors there that they didn't want to believe it, but yeah, he wound up with jaundice. I was able to take him home. I just had to make sure I got an appointment. Basically, I went home that Thursday, and he went to the doctors that Friday. So basically, he went back to the doctors. His levels, I believe his levels were still a little bit high, or they were low, one of the two. I didn't go take him to the doctors. My boyfriend did. You know, I'm in my postpartum stage. I'm not supposed to really be outside. I'm supposed to let my body heal. He took him to the doctors. He said everything was fine. It should clear up on its own. Just try to let him get some sunlight. And God willingly, it did clear up on its own. That was the most terrifying, that was the most scariest, most terrifying thing that I ever had to go through, you guys. Because when a child has jaundice, his eyes, his skin color was yellow. His eyes, the part that's supposed to be white, that was yellow. And that was just the most scariest thing that I ever had to go through in life. And basically, now, we face this was basically the most challenging pregnancy and the most challenging child that I ever had. So, well, basically now, like Damo and Christy, their son has to wear the helmet. I'm going through the exact same thing with my son. He has to go for a free consultation because he has a flat head, like the back of his head is flat. And we gotta go for a consultation and see basically if he's gonna need a helmet. And basically with my, like I said, with my anxiety and my depression, I felt like it was basically my fault, because with me pushing him, I kept stopping, and you know when you stop, that basically squeezes on the baby's head, and I kept stopping and going and stopping and going. So basically, I felt like that was that was my fault. So yeah, basically that's where we're at, the journey that we're going through right now with Kamari. He has to go in for a free consultation, and the thing that it is called cranial technology. So basically, that's what our journey is going through with Kamari. He has to go through a free consultation to see if he's going to need basically a helmet. Thank you guys for listening and tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, you guys. And just basically send us all your prayers, because they're really needed.